Okay, Thor, hit me.
What's up guys, it's your boy PJ the Paradox Nerd back again with another Hot Toys review, and today I'll be reviewing one of the most controversial Hot Toys of 2020, and that is Hot Toys MMS 528 D30 Iron Man Mark 85 from the Avengers Endgame movie. Guys, I was seriously looking forward to getting this Mark 85 just because I felt that the Mark 85 design is one of the best Iron Man suits ever made. I really love the classic Iron Man theme colors on this suit, and I wanted to have the definitive Hot Toys Iron Man figure in my collection. Unfortunately, there have been a lot of controversy going towards this figure, and that's because of the portrait. It looks very different from the prototype, and I think that's why a lot of collectors are going crazy over the change. So let's review this bad boy and see if this figure warrants all the controversy it is getting. But before I jump into my review, I just want to let you guys know I'll be giving away a Hot Toys, wait for it, Luke Skywalker figure once I hit 5,000 subscribers. When I hit 4,000 subscribers, I will announce which Luke Skywalker figure I'll be giving away. And also when I hit 4,000 subscribers, I'll be giving away an Iron Studios Hobgoblin statue. So definitely subscribe to my channel so that you guys can be qualified and notified in how to win those epic collectibles. Okay, enough of the small talk. Let's start this review right now. Alright guys, so here are all the accessories that he comes with, and as you can see, this Mark 85 doesn't come with a lot of accessories, but let's start off by checking out the base. And as you can see, this base is a really cool looking base, has the Avengers logo on top, it has Iron Man theme colors all around the base, and if you flip the base forward, you have a nameplate that says Iron Man. So pretty cool looking base. It also has this dynamic flight pole stand, so you can come up with some really cool dynamic poses. He also comes with a pair of hands with articulated fingers, and I'm going to take one of them and show you how. So you can see the fingers has a couple joints in them, So you could come up with some really cool poses with these articulated fingers. He also comes with a pair of repulsor blasting hands, and as you can see, they're painted and sculpted really well. And he also comes with this nano gauntlet, and the nano gauntlet has articulated fingers, as you can see. And you can see the level of detail on this nano gauntlet. You can see the stones on the back of the hand here. And yeah, really digging in how this looks. You also get this nano lightning refocuser, and as you can see, it is sculpted really well. The paint application on it is pretty decent. I think it would turn out a lot better if this refocuser was made out of die-cast material. But overall, I think it looks good. And in just a second, I'm going to show you guys how to install this nano lightning refocuser. So to install the refocuser, all you got to do is line up these 3 peg holes here in the back of the refocuser. And you got to line up on to the back of this Mark 85 figure. You can see there are some peg holes exposed. There should be 3 altogether. Just got to line it up and push it in just like so. And it looks pretty good. You know, it definitely sticks on pretty well. And I like it. You also get this neck piece. So you're going to use this neck piece to install the portrait. And that's a good segue for me to introduce this portrait. So as you can see, this portrait looks pretty good in my opinion, but you know, I'll definitely do a more in-depth review once we hit that portrait category. But yeah, overall, I think it looks pretty good. You can see some of the old man wrinkles here in the bottom of his chin. And yeah, looks pretty good. Alright guys, so I'm going to show you guys how to turn on the lighter features on this figure. Starting off with the helmet, first remove the head cover, which exposes the battery compartment. Install the batteries, flip the switch, and voila, you have light. Now to turn on the lighter features on the chest piece, you gotta take out this back piece cover on the back of the figure, which exposes the battery compartment. Install the batteries, flip the switch, and voila, you have some nice bright LED lights, and it looks pretty cool. Alright, so to turn on the lighter features on the hand, you just got to remove the tricep armor cover, which exposes the battery compartment. Install the batteries, flip the switch, and there you have light. Now to turn on the lighter features on the leg, you got to remove this this cover here on the side of the leg. And then once you remove it, it exposes the battery compartment. Install the batteries, flip the switch, and there you go. Alright guys, so let's go over the articulation for this figure, starting off with the head. So you could turn his head from side to side. You could bring it up. Unfortunately, you cannot tilt his head down, so pretty decent range of motion around the head and neck area. Moving on to the shoulder joints, as you can see, you could bring his arm out just about 90 degrees. You could actually rotate his arm all around, and I'm showing you guys how to do so in just a second. So you just have to pop out his shoulder joints just like so. Then you could bring his arm forward and backwards just about 90 degrees. Actually, you could actually rotate his arm all around. So really good range of motion around this area. And once you're done, just pop it back in. Now moving on to the elbow joint. So his elbow is double jointed, so you could actually bend it way past 90 degrees. And as you can see, when you bend his elbow, the bicep armor kind of moves up and doesn't get in the way. Now for the wrist joints, you could only rotate his wrist. Now let's move on to the torso. So his torso's got some articulation, but to articulate his torso, you have to bring his torso up just like so. And once you bring it up, then you could turn his torso from side to side, and you can do a little bit of ab crunch. And once you're done, you can just pop it back down. Let's move on to the hip joint. So to articulate the hips, you gotta pop his leg out. And once you pop it out, then you could bring his leg out just about 30 to 40 degrees. And you could actually bring his leg forward just about 90 degrees, but you gotta move these flaps on the side up so it doesn't get in the way. And you could also bring his leg back just about 10 to 20 degrees. His knee is double jointed, so you can actually bend it way past 90 degrees. And as for the ankle joint, so to articulate his ankle, you gotta bring these metal flaps up. And once you do that, then you could bring his foot forward. And you can see the toes articulating up as well. And you can bring it back just about 10 to 20 degrees. Unfortunately, there is no swivel around his ankle because the metal armor does get in the way. Alright guys, so let's go over the most controversial part about this figure, and that is the portrait. So I pulled up a picture of Robert Downey Jr. from Endgame to do a side-by-side comparison, and right off the bat you could notice that the Hot Toys portrait is definitely skinnier than the movie version of Robert Downey Jr. And yeah, I mean, I think Hot Toys definitely missed the mark with this portrait. I think they definitely could have done a lot better. Is this the worst Robert Downey Jr. portrait ever made? Probably not. I mean, I think there are other ones that are a little outdated. But I think this portrait is okay. I think from certain angles it looks good, but in other angles it doesn't. But I have a feeling the reason why this portrait is totally different from the prototype is because the prototype was sculpted by Kojun, who actually left to go to J&D Studios. So Kojun now is making a lot of statues for that company, and I think Hot Toys was left in the dark, and they had to get another sculptor to sculpt this portrait, and obviously it didn't turn out the way they wanted to turn out. But regardless, if I had to score this portrait, I scored a 7 out of 10. Alright, so let's move on to the helmet. And as you can see, this helmet is pretty badass. And with the lighter features turned on, it looks even more badass. But yeah, this helmet is probably the saving grace for this figure, just because I think a lot of collectors are going to be displaying this figure with the helmet on. And in my opinion, this helmet design is probably one of the best Iron Man helmet designs ever made. It just looks so cool, so futuristic, and so badass. And I'm really happy in how Hot Toys captured the exact same look of the Mark 85 helmet from the movie. Alright, so let's move down the figure and check out his armor. And as you can see, this armor is super epic. I really love the armor design on this Mark 85. And I also love the theme colors of this armor. It has the classic Iron Man theme colors from the comic books. And as you can see, Hot Toys did a really great job with the paint application, the details, and some of the weathering on this armor. It's not going to be as weathered as the battle damage version, but they did a really nice job not making this armor too clean. And I do want to mention that you could actually remove the chest piece, which exposes the nano engineering that's underneath the armor. And as you can see, it is really detailed, especially around the arc reactor. I really love the fact that Hot Toys did this. Alright, so let's move down towards the legs here and check out the rest of his armor. And like I mentioned earlier, the paint application and the detail on this armor is absolutely phenomenal. I really love how the red and the gold pops, and I love how shiny the paint on this armor is. And I know there were a few collectors that were asking me during my live unboxing if the reds were inaccurate to the movie just because they felt that it was too shiny. To be honest, I think they are accurate. I think the scene that the Mark 85 was in mostly were dark scenes, so it can make the armor look a little darker or duller than it should be. But yeah, overall, I think this armor design is absolutely beautiful. So here is my final verdict for this Iron Man Mark 85 figure. This figure is really not that bad, and I don't see why collectors are going crazy over the portrait, where I could give them many examples of previously released portraits that collectors should have went crazy over. Why weren't people going crazy over the Paul Rudd Ant-Man portrait, Force Awakens Chewbacca, lifeless Princess Leia, wide-faced Hawkeye? I can definitely make a list of poorly sculpted portraits that Hot Toys missed the mark, Or was this release the straw that broke the camel's back and Hot Toys collectors had enough of these subpar portrait sculpts? Anyways, yes, the portrait is underwhelming and is definitely a different portrait than they advertise, but the rest of the figure is great. I love the details on the armor, the posability of this figure, and the beautiful helmet design on this Mark 85. I would definitely recommend this to any Iron Man or Marvel Hot Toys collector, but I would definitely recommend waiting and seeing if this figure will go on sale, because I will not pay full price for this Mark 85. If anything, I would recommend passing on this figure completely and try to get the battle damage version, because to me, I think Hot Toys will fix that portrait for that figure and they will make that battle damage Mark 85 figure almost perfect, if not perfect. Alright guys, so that wraps it up. Hope you guys enjoyed the review. Thanks for watching, and always remember to do what you love and love what you collect. Take care guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
Nobody else, and I from you.